Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. Guys, we're taking a look today at the latest on the Buffalo Sabres. What is going on with Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart? We'll be going up to the latest on that situation. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and see more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. So let's take a look at Jack Eichel and the Buffalo Sabres. So we've been hearing this for really most of this season, since the injury stuff and the surgery stuff that has been coming out about Jack Eichel, that he may get moved out of Buffalo. And we've got a little bit more clarification on that the other day from big hockey insider Elliotte Friedman. At the end of the day, I don't think the Sabres want to bring back Jack Eichel. They want to move on. So that's very interesting because for a lot of people, and I know a lot of you Sabres fans have been saying the last couple months, stop talking about it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's one of those things where you want to sit in the closet and pretend that the world isn't falling apart, but it is. But again, you can only cover yourself for so long before this stuff gets out. And now, because of the injury stuff, and like I said, all that surgery stuff has been happening, it's really gotten to the point now where there seems to be some true tension between the Sabres and the ownership and the management with Jack Eichel. And I think it's gotten to a point where the Sabres are like, screw it, this guy doesn't want to be here. Our team sucks anyway, so we might as well move on from this guy and try and get something for guys that actually want to play for our hockey team. So we've gotten a lot of rumors. Obviously, Darren Dreger has since confirmed that he thinks that we're going to see Jack Eichel leave. We've started to get an idea of teams that may be interested in Jack Eichel. We've heard these same teams before: the Rangers, the Kings, the Ducks. Who else you want to throw in there? We've heard the Blues. Everybody's in that conversation. Now, the next big thing is Elliotte Friedman also mentioned on top of that he expects Jack Eichel to be traded by this year's 2021 NHL draft, which is at the end of next month. So we could see things really start progressing here over the next couple weeks in terms of a potential Jack Eichel trade. Now, Kevin Adams has since come out and said we don't want to trade Jack Eichel right at this moment, but we are looking to create a trade market for the Sabres superstar franchise forward. So we're going to go back in time real quick. So we're going to go back in time to an awful year in Buffalo. The 2014-2015 Buffalo Sabres. Probably one of the worst teams in NHL history. They were awful. Now, if you guys remember, the Sabres were the worst team in the league by a mile, but they had traded everybody off of their roster. Any good goaltender, they had a goaltender. They were like, all right, this guy is maybe a third goaltender on a good team. He played too well. They had to trade him. Like, it got to a point where the Sabres fans were actually booing when they scored and were cheering when they were losing games. That's how bad it got in Buffalo. And they did it to tank for Connor McDavid, the savior of the Buffalo Sabres, until the Oilers win the draft lottery. Of course, we're talking about the Oilers winning the draft lottery. That was a theme for the 2010s. That was just what pretty much what the Oilers did. And they were able to get a superstar to fall right in their laps, a generational talent in Connor McDavid. But for the Sabres, now they get the second pick, and it's like, okay, well, we get the consolation prize, and that's Jack Eichel. Now, Jack Eichel is, let's be honest, in any other draft going to be drafted number 1 overall. The Boston University Terrier had a great season in college hockey in that 2014-2015 season and became the second overall pick to the Buffalo Sabres. So now we get into what has happened since that 2015 second overall selection of Jack Eichel by the Sabres. What has happened with Eichel, with the Sabres? Well, not much has really changed in terms of the team's success. The team has not made the playoffs in, I think it's been 13 seasons, something like that. It's gotten ridiculous. This team has been in the shitter of the NHL for a really long time. And it's gotten to a point where, despite having Jack Eichel, I mean, you look at his seasons, his best season was a season he had 82 points. He had 82 points in 77 games back in the 2018-2019 season. He had 56 points, 57 points. This most recent full season, he had 78 points. And he still had 18 points in 21 games with the Sabres this season. The terrible Buffalo Sabres. He was still almost a point per game. Now, he did only have 2 goals in that stretch. And also remember, he was injured. He was playing through injury throughout this year's regular season. And that may have had something to do with it as well. The Buffalo Sabres, I mean, you look at his numbers, he's a monster. 355 points in 375 games for a team that has been one of the worst, at least bottom 5, for pretty much the entirety of Jack Eichel's career in Buffalo. And he's 24 years old. You would think that maybe he would want to win at some point, right? That's what you're here to do, is to win. I think he's gotten to a point now where we've talked about this before, but he's had injury issues recently in his neck. He has a herniated disc in his neck, and he wants to get the Peyton Manning surgery, which is the one that is a little bit more risky. If it doesn't work, it could be a real problem moving forward for Jack Eichel. Or he could take the more conservative surgery, which is the one that the Sabres want him to get, and he's still going to have maneuvering issues with that surgery, and he'll never be back to 100%. But Jack Eichel wants to take the chance. He wants to take the surgery that's more risky, but there's a better return if it works out. So obviously, at the end of the day, and nobody really talks about this much, but at the end of the day, management signs off. Again, in your contract and everything like that, they make all these millions and stuff, but in the contract, Jack Eichel cannot have the surgery he wants if the Buffalo Sabres management and ownership does not sign off on it. That is why we don't see these guys doing, a lot of other activities in the offseason, like maybe doing fighting and stuff like that, because they have legal obligations with their current NHL team. And that goes the same thing with surgeries and anything of the medical variety. So Jack Eichel, this has made things a little bit more interesting, despite the team not being good and everything else. Now you have this surgery stuff, and now you have to find a team that is willing to let Jack Eichel get that quote-unquote risky surgery. So now, if the Sabres want to trade Jack Eichel, they find a partner, they get the assets and everything on the table and everything worked out, you still have to worry about them being, pretty much signing off on Jack Eichel getting this risky surgery. So there's a lot going on with this. Again, would the Ducks be willing to do that? The Kings and obviously the Rangers, everybody's been going nuts about that. We had Rangers fans actually chanting, "We want Eichel" during this season. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot. If this gets done before the draft, I would be shocked. But again, his no-move clause kicks in next season, and that is also something that you have to consider. I know a lot of Sabres fans don't want to hear about Jack Eichel getting traded, but that kind of seems to be where we're at. Now, we've also gotten some information going in, speaking of the draft, the Buffalo Sabres won the draft lottery. They hold on to the best odds of the first overall pick. They're selecting first overall, which adds to the storyline just a little bit, because now the question is, well, what is the Sabres' thought process on this year's draft? Because do you go with the best center, the guy that's going to quote-unquote replace Jack Eichel, or do you find a team that you can get that asset for in a Jack Eichel trade? Let's say if they trade with the Rangers, if they trade for a Capo Caco or someone like that, would that be their cornerstone piece? On the forward side of things, do the Buffalo Sabres take the guy everybody's projecting to go first overall, Owen Power, or do they go with a positional spot, maybe selecting a center, maybe a guy like Matt Beniers, which everybody's been talking about, Owen Power's teammate at the University of Michigan. So again, there's a lot going on here. It seems like Owen Power wants to go back to the University of Michigan next season. Does that have any implications on what the Sabres do with their draft pick? There's just so much going on with this. And again, do the Sabres feel that they can get the best player in this year's draft, which is projected to be Power, and still get that center help that they're going to need if they trade Jack Eichel in that trade? I don't know. I'm at a loss at this point. I really thought Owen Power was going to be the first overall pick. But now with the Sabres potentially trading Jack Eichel, well, seems like it's an inevitable at this point. Jack Eichel getting traded. Do they consider taking a center with that first overall pick to rebrand this franchise? So Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on this Jack Eichel situation? It has been going on for a little while now, and I've said this in my previous videos about this. When there's smoke, there's usually fire, and it's getting to a point now we might be seeing a little bit of that fire, and we may actually see this trade come to fruition. Leave some mock trades in the comment section down below. I've tried making mock trades. You guys go ahead. It's the Wild West. Just, I don't know. I'm out of ideas. I mean, if you're the LA Kings, is it Turcotte, Byfield? I mean, what are we giving up here? It's going to be a lot. But the question is, draft picks, all of that. Salary, too. We have to consider, Jack Eichel's making $10 million per season. It's a lot. It's a big asking price by the Sabres for a guy that, with this injury stuff going on, how many teams really want to take this guy on at this point? I don't know. And if anything, does it affect the value of Jack Eichel potentially leaving Buffalo? Like I said, leave in the comment section down below what you guys think. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.